All right, open up to your notes packet, section 1-3, variables and expressions. And we're just going to define a couple of terms. So the first term we're going to define is a variable. A variable simply is a letter which stands for an unspecified number from a given set. Okay. Now an expression is a collection of variables and constants connected by operation signs. Okay, a collection of variables and constants connected by operation signs. And operation signs are things like plus, minus, multiply, divide, could be square root, could be an exponent, could be anything else. Okay, so we'll just leave that open. Okay. And we'll come back to that in a minute. But the next thing I want to talk about, when you have an expression, and you're simplifying an expression that has all these different operations going on. I'm sure you've heard of something called PEMDAS. Okay, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Yeah. And so our order of operations, this looks like a neat thing to use, but it can be really hard to follow if you don't understand what all these things mean. Okay. First of all, the P. You do the P first. The P means do anything or simplify anything inside the parentheses. Okay. If there's multiple parentheses, you do start at the innermost parentheses. Okay. The E is you do any exponentiating. Okay, you're going to do that next. And be careful, because if you do something inside parentheses with an exponent on the outside of parentheses, you have to simplify inside the parentheses first. Okay, and then you also have to know rows of exponents if that applies. Next, you have multiplication and division. You do these next, but you do them at the same time, going from left to right. So for instance, multiplication doesn't really come before division. If I have 20 divided by 5 times 2, I don't do the multiplication first because the M is before the D. I've got a multiplication and division. Those are equal. You do those same time. And the one you determine you do first is going to be left to right. So I've got to do the division first. I get 4 times 2, and then I get 8. Okay, that can be confusing. And finally, the addition and subtraction. Again, same time, left to right. Okay, so if I have 5, let's say minus 3 plus 2. I don't do this first because addition comes before subtraction. And say 5 minus 5. I do the 5 minus 3 first. I get 2 plus 2, and I get a 4. Okay. Now, at the bottom of this page in your packet, there's a problem that looks like this. 5x minus 2, and then there's brackets, 3 minus 2, those are braces, and these are brackets, x plus 2 times x minus 3, close the bracket, close the braces, and you're going to do order of operations. I want you to pause this video now and try this on your own. Okay? So pause. All right, welcome back. Now we're going to go over it. If you want to fast forward through this, see if you got it right, see if you need to go through these steps. But I'm going to go through each step. Now notice I've got a lot going on here. I've got to start inside the innermost parentheses, which is here, x minus 3. I can't simplify there. So now I go to the next set of parentheses, which is the brackets. Now I've got a plus here, and then I've got a 2 parentheses x minus 3. This 2 parentheses means times. So this multiplication has to happen before this addition. Okay, so I have to multiply the 2 into x minus 3. So I have to distribute. So that becomes 2x minus 6. And then I add the other x. Close my bracket. And then I've got the 3 minus 2. There's the braces. 5x minus 2. Now my innermost parentheses, this, I can simplify. X plus 2x is 3x, and then minus 6. And I've got the 3 minus the 2. Braces, 5x minus 2. Okay. It is tempting to do that 3 minus 2 because it's outside the parentheses. It's called that a 1, but you cannot do that. This is a subtraction. This 2 is being multiplied by this quantity. So you've got to do the multiplication first. So that negative 2 gets multiplied here. So minus 6x, and negative 2 times negative 6 is plus 12. Then I can put the 3 down there, finish my braces, 5x minus 2, simplify within the parentheses. 3 plus 12 gives me 15 minus 6x. And I've got the 5x minus 2. I can't simplify any more in there, so this negative 2 distributes into here. So negative 30 plus 12x, bring down the 5x. Combine your like terms, 17x minus 30. Okay. Get it right? Sounds good. Okay. There's a couple more practice problems on this page that aren't quite this hard. I wanted to go over this one because this is a little bit more challenging. Okay. One last thing I want to talk about is some definitions. Okay. We talked about the field axioms. Axioms are things that are accepted as true without proof. Okay. There's a couple of definitions we have also. Definition of subtraction. Now you know what subtraction is, but by the definitions of subtraction, that means if we're taking x and we subtract the y, the definition says what we're doing is we're taking x and we're adding that to the opposite of y. When you subtract something, you're adding its opposite. Okay, whether you go from this left to right or right to left, this is called the definition of subtraction. Okay. Definition of division is very similar. I take x and I divide by y. Well, that means I'm taking x and I'm multiplying by the reciprocal of y. Okay. So that's called, the reason you could call this, say this is equal to this, is because of the definition of division. Okay. And then the definition of exponentiation. This means if I have x to the n means n x's are multiplied together. N x's, that's not x to the fifth, that's an s. X to the n means you have n x's that are being multiplied together. For instance, if I have x to the fourth, that means I have 4 x's all multiplied by each other. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? All right, until our next video.